Welcome to Listen and Learn English, where you can improve your English at your own pace. Our narrators are all native English speakers, and their words are displayed so that you can read along and practice your English vocabulary. It's a great way to learn, so sit back, relax, and let's get into the video.
Treasure Island Part 1. The Old Buccaneer. I remember him as clearly as if it were yesterday, the day that old seaman first came trudging up the road to the Admiral Benbow Inn. He came plodding along, his sea chest on a handcart, dragged behind him by a local man. A tall, strong fellow he was, with a weather-beaten face, a dirty blue coat, and a ragged old hat pulled low over his eyes. What stood out most, though, was the long, dirty braid of hair hanging from his back, tied with a bit of tarred string, and a wide, jagged scar that ran down one of his cheeks. He walked straight up to our door and knocked with his stick. When my father came out to meet him, the man simply said, "This is a good spot. Quiet. Not many people about, eh? That's what I like." Then he looked up at the sign above the inn. "This here's the Admiral Benbow, right?" he asked. My father nodded. "I'll stay here for a bit," the man said. "You can call me Captain. I'll take that room up top, and you just keep my chest safe. I'll pay you a few coins now, and we'll talk about more later." He tossed a few gold coins into my father's hand. It was more than enough to cover several weeks. He turned to me then and gave me a long, strange look. "You there, boy," he said. "How about you keep your eyes open? If you see a one-legged sailor coming this way, you tell me right away. Understand?" I nodded. I didn't know what to make of him, but I was a little afraid and very curious. From that day on, the captain stayed with us. He didn't speak much at first, just came down each morning to eat bacon and eggs, then wandered off along the cliffs with his brass telescope. He would spend hours watching the sea. Sometimes he stayed out till sunset, standing perfectly still on a high ridge, like he was waiting for something or someone to come over the horizon. When he came back in the evenings, he would sit by the fire, drink his glass of rum, and say very little unless someone mentioned the sea. Once he had some rum in him, he would come alive, singing rough sailor songs and banging the table with his hand. Sometimes, when he was drunk, he told wild stories about pirates and battles and buried treasure. His voice would grow louder and more frightening, and his eyes would flash. He told tales of cutthroats marooned on desert islands and gold hidden under palm trees. He'd slam his hand down and swear it was all true. We didn't know if he was lying or not, but one thing was clear. He was no ordinary sailor. There was something dangerous about him, something that made people nervous. Soon the locals stopped coming to the inn. They were too afraid of the old sea dog and his sudden outbursts. The months rolled by. The captain stayed on. Every day he'd ask me, "Seen any sailors about, boy? Any man with one leg?" I always said no, and he'd nod and go back to watching the sea. He didn't pay my father any more money, and when we tried to ask for the rest of the rent, he would glare and bang his stick on the floor. "If you don't like me here," he'd growl, "just say so, but you won't get a better man for this lonely spot, and don't think you can throw me out." My poor father didn't know what to do. He was too sick to argue, and the captain was too fierce to confront. So we let him stay. He was like a shadow over the inn, and the tension he brought with him never went away. Then, one frosty morning in January, everything began to change. I was cleaning the front of the inn when a stranger came up the road. He was a thin man, hunched over a stick, and wrapped in a tattered black cloak. His skin was pale, and his eyes were hidden in shadow. He looked sickly and dangerous, and when he spoke, his voice was soft but cold. "Is this the Admiral Benbow?" he asked. I said yes. He leaned closer and whispered, "Do you have a man staying here, tall, with a scar on his cheek?" I nodded again, and he grinned, revealing yellow, crooked teeth. "Good," he said. "Take me to him." I led him into the parlor, where the captain was sitting at the table, drinking his morning rum. As soon as the captain saw him, he froze. His eyes widened, and he gripped the table. "You," he whispered. "Aye, Bill," said the stranger. "It's me, Black Dog." The captain looked as if he'd seen a ghost. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then they sat in a corner and talked in low voices. I couldn't hear what was said, but I could see them gesturing wildly. Suddenly, the captain jumped up, knocking over his chair, and pulled out a short cutlass. Black Dog backed away, then turned and ran out the door, blood trailing from a wound on his shoulder. The captain tried to chase him, but stumbled and collapsed in the doorway. We rushed to help him. His face had gone purple, and his limbs were shaking. He was having a stroke. My mother sent me running for Dr. Livesey, who came right away. The doctor was calm and confident, and he examined the captain quickly. "He has had a seizure," said Dr. Livesey. "Too much drinking, too much excitement. If he wants to live, he'll have to stop the rum, and he must rest." The captain wasn't happy when he woke up and heard the doctor's orders. "Rum," he muttered. "Give me rum." "No," said Dr. Livesey firmly. "One drop more, and you're a dead man." The captain glared at him with cold hatred, but the doctor wasn't afraid. "I don't care who you are," said Dr. Livesey. "If you threaten me, I'll have you locked up. But if you want to stay alive, you'll listen to what I say." The captain stared at him for a long moment, then looked away. He said nothing. That was the beginning of it, the beginning of the great adventure that would take me across the ocean, to desert islands, buried treasure, and battles with pirates. But back then, I didn't know it yet. All I knew was that a dangerous man was lying sick in our inn, hiding from his past, and that whatever was coming, it would not be quiet.
We hope you enjoyed this video. Please support us by giving us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We release new videos just like this one each week, so join us and listen to learn English.